Early 1900s Appalachia, coal wasn't just an industry, it was survival. Towns existed for one reason: what was buried underground. And the companies, yeah, they knew that. They owned the mines, they owned the houses, and they owned the store where you bought your food. Sometimes miners weren't even paid in cash, just company scrip, money that only worked at the company store. Your job, your food, your home, all of it was tied to the same hand. But nobody talked about it out loud, because when everything you have comes from the same place, you learn real fast what it costs to complain. When your job, your home, and your future are all tied to the same place, it doesn't take much to push things a little too far. And in one small West Virginia town, the people decided not to take it anymore. In a small town called Matewan, West Virginia, there was a police chief named Sid Hatfield. Some people called him Smiling Sid, gold-capped teeth, easy grin. One local described him as rough, tough, and nasty. He wasn't polished, and he wasn't what you'd call respectable, but he knew the miners, he knew their families, and he knew what they were up against. And when things started changing, he didn't stay quiet. But this story wasn't about him. It's about a town that decided that they weren't going to back down anymore. Miners began organizing. They wanted better pay, safer conditions, a say in their own lives. And the coal companies, yeah, you guessed it, they took notice. But they didn't negotiate. They sent in agents from the Baldwin Felts Detective Agency to break strikes. They evicted families, and they wanted to make an example out of anyone and everyone who resisted. Men who risked their lives underground were now being pushed out above it, and the people who were supposed to protect them, they were looking the other way. May 1920, the Baldwin Felts agents arrived in Matewan. They started forcing families out of their homes, and Sid Hatfield stepped in. Arguments broke out, warrants were questioned, authority was challenged. Who had the right to do what in this town? But nobody was backing down. But something had to give. Here's the thing, this didn't just happen out of nowhere. It had been building for years. May 19th, 1920, both sides met near the Matewan train station. Tension was already at a breaking point. The agents were there, the miners were there, and then someone drew a weapon. Nobody can really agree on who fired first, and honestly at this point, it doesn't really matter. Gunshots echoed off the buildings, windows shattered, people ran for cover, and in minutes the street became a battlefield. When it was over, 7 Baldwin Felts agents were dead, 2 miners were dead, and Matewan's mayor, C.C. Testerman, he lay dying in the street. Sid Hatfield, he was still standing. Think about that for a minute. In a town of barely 1,000 people, in a gunfight that lasted probably less than 2 minutes, it changed everything. And the thing is, this wasn't just a shootout, but this is what happens when pressure builds for too long and it finally breaks. And after that day, there was no going back. Hatfield became a symbol. To the miners across Appalachia, he stood for something. To the coal companies, yeah, he was a target, and they came for him. It wasn't long after that he was shot and killed on the courthouse steps in Welch, West Virginia. It was actually broad daylight, and it was in front of his wife. The conflict, it didn't end there, but it escalated. It led to the Battle of Blair Mountain, the largest armed labor uprising in American history. But in the short term, it was a big defeat. Union membership in southern West Virginia practically collapsed. The miners were pushed back. But the story didn't end there, because what happened in those mountains forced the rest of the country to pay attention. It exposed the conditions, the control, the cost of that system, and over time, that pressure led to change. In the 1930s, miners finally gained the legal right to organize. Safer conditions followed. A different kind of future became possible. And where I'm from, stories like this aren't just history, but this is the reason that towns still exist at all. My dad was an underground coal miner. His dad was an underground coal miner. So many of their friends and other family members were underground coal miners. And they did it because that's what you did. And they did it standing on the shoulders of people who decided that enough was enough. Places like this don't just happen. They were built. They were built by people who didn't have much, but still decided what was worth standing up for. And most of them, they never had their names written down. Many of them weren't famous or powerful, but they showed up, they worked hard, they provided for their families, and they stood their ground when it mattered most. And over time, that actually became something, a town, community, some place to call home. I'm from a place like that, and if you really think about it, you probably are too. And if you believe that stories like this still matter and they're worth telling, then hit that follow button or that subscribe button and come along on this journey, because we're just getting started. There's way more stories out there. Let's go find them together. Hope y'all have a great day, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye, y'all.